who has not played like Deshaun Watson in probably 5 years. I didn't look it up, but it has been a minute, as the young folks say. But and I said this last week when we talked, if you took this Browns roster and just dumped it in Houston and kept C.J. Stroud there, this team is winning 11 games. I feel pretty safe in saying that. So the quarterback is the biggest question mark in Cleveland. They have Jared Verse plus the first, second, and third round pick they got for Myles Garrett. And it feels like Andrew Berry is pulling all the right strings at every other position except quarterback. So let's hear your case for Deshaun Watson as the Baker Mayfield Award winner this time around.
Listen, I'm looking at it from the standpoint of, let's start with Todd Monken, and I've talked about it here on the show. He has a history. Go look up his bio. He has a history of being a college offensive coordinator, right? Which means that he understands how to meet, and Deshaun's not young, but I'm saying he understands how to meet young quarterbacks where they are. And he's able to put a system in place that will allow quarterbacks to grow and develop in those systems. If you look at Deshaun Watson's completion percentage through his 4 years in Houston, the average of it was almost 67% in terms of his completion percentage versus 61% in Cleveland. He had 2 4,000 passing seasons in Houston where we saw him become a Pro Bowl player. Now you got to ask yourself why. Why? Because Billy O'Brien, who also has a college background, ran a system that was kind of tailored to Deshaun Watson and what he did well, brought in some of those Clemson concepts that he was comfortable running. Then now you go to Cleveland and you're under Kevin Stefanski, and Kevin Stefanski is, we're going to run my system, and you got to do what I need you to do in my system, right? And so, again, I think that along with the health, he hadn't played a full season in 4 years, right, for since he's been in Cleveland. So I think with adding Todd Monken to this picture, I think he'll be able to craft an offense around him. And let's be honest, look at, the rosters that Deshaun Watson had in the past in Cleveland compared to what he has now. He has the 2 young rookie wide receivers and Denzel Boston and Casey Concepcion. You mix in Jerry Jeudy. You got Harold Fannin Jr., who was, playing lights out before he got hurt. And then you add in Quinshon Judkins and what he's able to do when he's healthy. A completely reworked offensive line that I think will be able to keep him upright. I think it just lines up for him to bounce back, be a comeback player of the year type. And I'm gonna ride this one out. And I could be on the outside looking in. Cool, I'm fine with that. But I think if he stays healthy with all the things that they have done around him, I think that he could bounce back and have a pretty good season.
I know Browns fans are tired of hearing this, but I keep saying it, that if you could just wait a year, because if Deshaun Watson works out and you win the Super Bowl, it doesn't matter. You can still trade up to as high as number 2 and get a quarterback. You may end up getting the first overall pick anyway, and we know about the Arch Manning discussion.
Listen, let me say this.
Yeah, go ahead.
Let me say this, and I don't mean to cut you off. If you're the Cleveland Browns fans, you know that no matter what, Deshaun Watson, they can win the Super Bowl. Deshaun Watson won't be the starting quarterback in Cleveland in 2027. I truly believe that. Because you gotta get from under this contract,
right?
So I think that goes without saying. But I'm just, for 2026, I think he has the makings of being able to be the comeback player of the year.
Yeah, and the early returns appear to be that he is atop the depth chart right now. I don't know if everything stays as is. I don't know if there's a world where Shedeur overtakes him. You okay with that?
Yeah, I'm okay with that, but I think what you have in Shedeur in the event that he doesn't play well. I think the same thing. I think Todd Monken can craft a system around either one of these 2 guys and win some football games with. And we've seen him do it in Baltimore when Lamar goes down and you have to play with Snoop Huntley and you have to play with all these other different backups, and you still find a way to win football games, still find a way to get explosive plays and get yards and get points. So I think he could do it with those 2 quarterbacks as well.
That's a good point, because there was not a lot of drop-off from Lamar to Snoop Huntley in small doses. As someone who is a Steelers fan and had to watch Snoop come in there and run the offense without much changing. That was an eye-opener for me. To your previous point about Todd Monken, we all knew that he was at Georgia a few years ago when Stetson Bennett was there and they won those games. You talk about the college connection. He was the head coach at Southern Miss prior to that. He's been with LSU, Oklahoma State, Louisiana Tech. So he has a lot of experience in the college game. He's an old school hard-scrabble coach, and I know some fans weren't excited about the hire because he wasn't the latest person off the Shanahan/McVay tree. Sometimes you need an old-school coach to sort of get the room right, and I think in addition to what he can do in terms of getting the offense right, I think he can get the temperature of the room where it needs to be competitive. So I'm with you. Like I don't have a lot of faith in Deshaun. I probably have more faith in the other players and than Todd Monken. And then, for as angry as it makes Browns fans, I think Andrew Berry the last 2 drafts has absolutely crushed it. And that this is a team that has a chance to be competitive, if not this year, certainly next year.
Sticking in the NFC South here, another big name on the board. After 15 seasons in New Orleans, Cameron Jordan is officially a free agent for the first time in his career. Now, Jordan has indicated that he would be open to returning to the Saints. But Ryan, who scoops him up?
Yeah, I think the recurring theme in our conversations today is that veteran players with huge upside are going to go to winning teams. I'm sending Cam Jordan to the Detroit Lions. We know they have Aiden Hutchinson, of course. They have Peyton Turner, who is more of a situational player, drafted Derek Moore. And then on the inside, they have Akeem the Dream McNeil, Tyleik Williams, and then Levi Owens-Arike, who's never quite hit the ground running as a former day 2 pick. So Cam Jordan comes in there, solidifies the middle of that defensive line with the ability to play outside in that Kelvin Shepherd defense in a unit that will be better this year, primarily because they'll be healthy. But we just saw on the graphic, he had 10.5 sacks last year, which I think leads all the old-timers we've been talking about thus far. And I think that would be a huge get for the Detroit Lions on I don't want to say defensive line in transition, but certainly one that needs to get healthy and help out Aiden Hutchinson.
And look, he's done some work for us here on CBS Sports Network, and he is a lovely human being. Breach also.
What if Cameron Jordan would not come to Cleveland to replace Myles Garrett? What if he would come to make sure the Browns' defense does not forget what it is supposed to be? Dawg Pound, think about this. When a player like Garrett leaves, the first reaction is always the same. Who replaces the sacks? Who replaces the pressure? Who becomes the next star? But that is the wrong question, because you do not replace Myles Garrett with one player. You replace pieces of what he gave you: production, attention, fear, identity. And this is where Cameron Jordan becomes interesting. Cam Jordan would not replace Myles Garrett. He could help Cleveland survive the transition without losing its defensive soul. Listen, this is not just about adding an older pass rusher. This is not about chasing a name. And it is definitely not about pretending Jordan is still the same player he was at his absolute peak. This is about memory, defensive memory. The Browns need somebody who understands what a defense is supposed to look like when the game gets ugly. Somebody who recognizes formations before the snap. Somebody who can see the screen coming, hold the edge against the run, push the pocket without losing contain, and make sure 10 other players are lined up correctly when the offense speeds up. Those plays do not always make the highlight reel, but those are the plays that keep a defense from falling apart. Cleveland does not just need production right now. Cleveland needs personality. Jared Verse could become the future of Cleveland's pass rush. Cam Jordan could make sure that future is not rushed into failure. Verse represents explosion, youth, violence off the edge, a new beginning. Jordan would represent control, technique, strength, the ability to slow the moment down. And that matters, because asking Verse to immediately carry everything Garrett left behind would be unfair. The expectations would become impossible before the season even started. Jordan could take difficult snaps, he could absorb attention, he could help Verse study tackles during the week, understand protection tendencies, and recognize when an offense is trying to bait him out of position. Not every lesson has to come after a mistake. Sometimes the right veteran prevents the mistake before it happens. Here is where this gets interesting. Cleveland already has enough uncertainty. There's a quarterback competition. Shedeur Sanders is trying to prove he's ready. Deshaun Watson is still part of the picture. Young defenders are being asked to grow quickly. The pressure from the fan base is real, and the defense is trying to build a new identity without its biggest star. That is a lot of instability in one building. Cameron Jordan could be one of the rare additions that reduces chaos instead of creating more of it. The Browns do not need another headline. They need someone who can calm the defense when the game starts falling apart. And yes, that connects directly to Shedeur, but not in the obvious way. Cam Jordan would not protect Shedeur with a block. He would protect him by keeping games from turning into chaos. A young quarterback needs room to make a mistake without watching that mistake become a 14-point swing. He needs a defense that can answer, a defense that can stop the run, force a punt, and give the offense another chance before panic takes over. Imagine this: cold afternoon in Cleveland. The offense turns the ball over. The crowd gets nervous. Shedeur walks to the sideline knowing he just gave the opponent momentum. The defense comes onto the field. Cam Jordan gathers the young players. He changes the alignment. On first down, he closes the edge and forces the running back inside. On second down, he reads the protection and pushes the quarterback off his spot. On third down, the pressure arrives and Cleveland gets off the field. No touchdown, no collapse. Shedeur gets the ball back. That sequence might matter more to a young team than one spectacular sack, because it tells everybody the same thing. One mistake does not have to become a disaster. That changes the entire conversation. Now, let's be honest. Age matters, wear matters, contract matters, role matters, snap count matters. Cleveland should not ask Jordan to play every down or save the defense by himself. That would miss the point. The ideal role would be simple: rotational veteran, physical run defender, technical leader, third down piece, and stabilizer for Jared Verse and the rest of the young front. Cam Jordan does not have to be the whole answer. He only has to keep the defense from becoming another question. This is not about replacing Garrett. This is about protecting the identity of the defense. Maybe Jordan wouldn't erase what Cleveland lost. Nobody can do that. But he could help Cleveland build something new without forcing Verse to become a superstar overnight or leaving Shedeur to carry every game emotionally. Dawg Pound. Does Cleveland need another superstar, or does this new era need a veteran like Cam Jordan to keep the entire defense from losing its way? Tell me in the comments if the Browns should consider Cameron Jordan. Hit the like button and subscribe to the channel for more Cleveland Browns talk.